Hello, Van Expediters, rookie Van Expediters. Today, as the title suggests, we're going to talk about 8 reasons why you might not like van expediting. Coming up soon will be some number of reasons that you might like van expediting, just to balance this out so it's not always negative. But here we go. This was quick, it's not in any particular order, and there probably are things that I missed. So here we go. Start with number 9 here. Making wrong turns. You're going to have a set amount of mileage. If you, I should qualify that this is van expediting you might hate in a 60-40 split situation, which is what most rookies will get into. Unless you're starting with your own van under your own authority, that's a great way to go, and this list will not apply to you. So, since you're paying for gas and time is usually of the essence, and getting there in the amount of miles that you're getting paid for makes a difference. You don't want to have wrong turns, but there's going to be times when you had your music on and you didn't exactly hear Google Maps telling you that there was in 2 miles coming up an exit to the right, or you knew it was coming up, but you're all the way in the left lane. All of a sudden, you see the exit coming up, and there isn't any possible way you can get over. Traffic is too thick, too heavy. It would be an accident to try to careen over onto the ramp, and you've missed your turn. Sometimes that's not bad. Sometimes it'll reroute you, and you might actually save a mile or two, and just you're a minute or two slower than you were. Sometimes it's not that bad. Other times, you're in the middle of downtown. You've got to take a detour. You've got to jet off into some streets. Suddenly you're in stop-and-go traffic. You might have to get off at an exit, turn back for 2 miles. It goes a lot of different ways. So you don't want to make wrong turns, and they happen until you get really good at knowing your route before you go, having your music set up so Google Maps always interrupts and comes up, gives you the early morning when you're zoning out into your favorite song, so you know where your turns are. And maybe you've also even got yourself an atlas, which is great, a trucker's atlas, so you've already checked the routes before you go, and you know little highway nuances that are going to happen on your route. Also, in certain areas, you're going to want to turn off the setting for tolls. Like, for example, if you're not careful, it'll route you down the 407 in Toronto, and no one is paying for that except you are going to get the $30 charge to go down the 407. So you don't want that, so you turn it off. But then, if you forget it and leave it off once you get into the States, all of a sudden you're in Chicago, and you're wondering why you're going down city streets. Why is this thing not taking you down the highway like it's supposed to be? It's because you've got tolls off, and it's routing you around all the toll roads in Illinois, which most of the highways in Illinois are tolls. Get ready for sudden paranoia when no one told you that Easy Pass also is compatible with iPass. Get ready to try to search your phone real fast when you're on the road, and you're like, hey Google, does Easy Pass work with iPass? And it'll tell you, yes, it does. Get a look when you got some time to at the compatibility maps, because there are some. It's the northern quadrant of the United States, the northeastern quadrant pretty much all works with Easy Pass. You get into South Carolina, Florida, and Texas are like the odd men out that have toll roads that aren't going to work with your Easy Pass. Florida for sure. The Sun Pass is its own thing. Texas has got a couple, but with Texas, it's usually some unusual roads that you won't really be on anyways if you stay on the main highways. So there's wrong turns. Emotional control. This will go down with the next one with driving down the road with road rage, but emotional control with feelings. You're going to deal with loneliness a lot of the time. You're going to have these moments when you realize just how far away from home you are, and how long it's been since you've talked to anybody, and how there's certain friends that you thought would be communicating and keeping up with you, knowing that you're lonely out here on the road, and suddenly you're not around to party with them. They're not around to hang around and entertain you. And you find out that maybe some people don't care about you as much as you thought they did. and you get into stores and people don't look like they're from your city, and it's kind of annoying sometimes. You might just deal with all. You can see it coming out of my personality. Sometimes it strikes you as being annoyed at the way people act, or just loneliness because you haven't seen a familiar face, or you're just looking for eyes that you might know in a store and someone to. But then there's this other times where you run into people that are really friendly out, and they'll do friendly things for you way out in the blue. So it's just constant emotional waviness out here on the roads until you really get used to that, and you know that it's going to be a constant thing, and and everyone has a different level of control. Some people probably have the control, but they may not be realizing what they're up against when they get into this, and it might take them by surprise. So don't be surprised if you have some moments of uneasy emotions. You're sleeping alone in a van. People don't understand this job. They don't understand why you want to make money this way. They suddenly start alienating you or thinking you're weird because you don't sleep in a house. You don't use a bathroom and shower like they do. And they'll alienate you for that. There are some certain friends you're going to find that'll do that, unless you don't have the same terrible friends that I have. Maybe I'm not saying that anybody did that to me, but that can be something you feel. Let's move on to road rage, which is in the emotional category there, and speed traps and driving around 18-wheelers. You're going to be frustrated when you're around you eventually will get used to the fact that 18-wheelers always pass just as you're approaching, and suddenly their speed limiter is keeping them from going a certain mile an hour as they try to pass. And then as soon as they pass, apparently since there's something to do with the wind resistance, they can suddenly go a lot faster once they get in front of the other truck. It doesn't make any sense, and it's like an everyday thing. And that can start to annoy you. People, especially in certain cities, you're going to see the mentalities of the cities. I just went through Texas, and it seemed like everybody was I got it, or operating their vehicle in a manner to where everything you did was wrong. If you went slow, you were going too slow. If you went fast, you were driving too fast and crazy, and people treated you like that. People do subversive things once they have the power of their vehicle, and they do things that they wouldn't do if these were shopping carts in a store and people could talk with each other right face front. You wouldn't follow 3 inches off someone's heels in the grocery store and kind of move in a deceptive way on their back shoulder just so that when they turned around, they suddenly hit your car. But in their car, they'll, for whatever reason, some people aren't paying attention, some people are intentional. You never know what it is. It always looks mysterious and strange, and it can get to you when, especially, you'll learn that you'll favor driving. You'll learn to probably drive in times that are around major traffic, and what to do when you're in major traffic. That's backing off. Certain traffic flows will get you to get aggressive and start driving with a group because you were passing people. Then these people cut you off, and this lady went slow in front of you, and you were trying to go, and you were following these cars that were going way above the speed limit, and you thought you kind of had this time where there was no cops, and you were going to make extra time, or you're late, and you're feeling pressure from dispatch. Don't play any of that bullshit. Learn to detect when your mind is attached to the drive and back off. That's the best thing you can do, is just suddenly switch off, hang back, let the 18-wheelers pass, let anybody pass. It might be 20,000 cars start passing you, and it never ends. Eventually, you'll get into the clear zone where you're not around any people that are looking at you funny, blaming you, making it seem like you cut them off. Remember, your van, these things handle funny. The wind is always buffeting them around in the lanes, so people start thinking that you were coming over into their lane. They start looking at you like you're a bad driver. You'll feel like you've got your name on the side of the door. It says your company name. Are they calling your company and complaining about your van number? Is your dispatch, getting memos that you're a lunatic out on the road? You never know. You don't want all those feelings. And don't imbibe. If you're a road rager, if you at home have trouble with road rage, you may have trouble with this job. I actually was a driver at one time that did have a problem with road rage, but lucky me, I became a driving instructor, and after about 6 years of actually having to teach a class not to road rage and telling them stories, and actually getting in front of them and being embarrassed with things that I'd done, even as a driving instructor, and had learned a hard lesson, and was willing to tell people, it started to sink into me about what I really needed to do to not be a road rager. And I wouldn't have known those things had I not taken any of those classes or given any of them classes. So if you haven't taken a safety driving course and haven't ever listened to anyone about your driving, and you're the top gun out there, you may have trouble operating this van in a safe, reliable, dependable manner as a professional driver. Maintaining your professionalism, because it can be hard. So let's move on to whatever number we're on here. What do we do? 9, 8, 7. So we're at number 6, sleep cycle. Your sleep cycle is going to get topsy. I don't know. I was going to say topsy-turvy. That's a weird word, but all flipped around. If you're someone who really depends on sleep at a certain time, or you get crabby, you may not like this job. And that was me. I have had a hard time adjusting to the nights where you have to stay up driving, pressure through the night. You'll get a stretch of time where you can take all nighttime sleep through the night, and get up in the day. Last night I slept all through the night, but the problem is I didn't want to run my heater. I didn't think it would be as cold as it was down in Arkansas, but it was. By the time it was early in the morning, I didn't feel like getting up to put gas in the heater. I mean, it was like 41 degrees in the van, and I was freezing under the covers, having a hard time sleeping. So, but at the same time, too tired to get up, and I didn't want a gas mess on my hands and for it to get into my bedding. So, I just suffered without the heat for a while, and that cut into my sleep time. So, and when things get cut into my sleep time, I get really groggy. But I can catch myself now. I'll know when certain things are going a certain way and I'm having a hard time with everything. I'll instantly be able to say, "Oh my God, I'm overtired," because that's what happens. I get cranky like a kid. So if you can catch yourself doing that, you might be okay. If that's something that will consume you and you won't be able to step aside from yourself and say, "Hey, I'm overtired. Let me take a break and just catch a nap," because remember, out there, even if dispatch is pissed, the safety's first. You got to take a break when you need a break, and you got to know to do that. And if you push, you're going to push yourself and blame everyone else that they pushed you, you're going to have a hard time on this job. So, you can't be like that. The next one here, I think this would be number 5, is unusable free time. You're going to think, and you're going to be sold on this job, that you have a ton of free time in between deliveries, and by the time they don't get you another load, well, you got free time to do stuff, but it doesn't really work like that. I personally have some things. You're going to need some things for your free time. Bring your computer, your cell phone, your like a laptop if you got one. Work on an internet business. Read some books. Bring some books. Fold up a yoga mat and take it with you, and unfold the yoga mat when there's no cargo in the back, and stretch. You can exercise, do some push-ups and sit-ups in the van. You can meditate in the van. Those are excellent things to do, as funky and weird as they sound. But that might be the only time that you really have, because you're going to find that when there's off time, these things got to happen. You're going to be tired. You're going to just sleep through it all. When you have any other extra time, the minute you say, "Well, you know what? They haven't called me for a load yet, and there is this park right here, just down the road here, and it looks like a cool walk. Let me go do that." This is what always happens to me. It's like they got it on. They got, as soon as you try to do something, they know it, or just it's fate, whatever the hell it is. You go to take a walk, as soon as you're 25 minutes away from your van, like, ring, 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 "Hey, we got your next, can you get over to such and such?" And it's about 2.5 hours away. So you get in your van right now and hustle over there. You can get it picked up before they leave, blah, blah, blah. And you got to run back to your van. And you didn't have time to take your walk. You didn't have time to go explore. You were in the middle of Planet Fitness. You wanted to go fitness. You might have to tell them, hey, I got laundry in the laundry machine. Sorry, man, I can't get out of here for an hour or two. And they'll accommodate usually, for obvious things that have to happen. But, those are things you'll need to do in your spare time. It's not like when you get spare time, you're going to be like, wow, man, let's go check out the water park, man. Let's go drive over 20 minutes to the beach. Driving anywhere is not what you want to do because you're spending money in your van on your gas. You're always going to kind of feel stuck where you are. You're not going to want to go check out here, check out there. Everything costs extra money, so you're not going to want to blow all your money while you're away from home that you're making. So you're really not going to have money to do all this stuff. And then unless, maybe after some time you start bankrolling some stuff, but you're going to have to communicate with your dispatcher a lot if you want to try to do anything that seems interesting on your off time. You're basically kind of stuck like a working robot where you deliver this stuff and then you wait, and they kind of treat you like you're just sitting there waiting for another load, waiting in your van. And you're going to have this time where you're going to have to actually take care of laundry, pay bills from your phone, exercise at the gym, catch a shower at the gym, drive to places to park. Between all those little time it takes to do all that stuff, that's all the time you have in between your deliveries sometimes. So it's not like you get a lot of free time on this job. And then when you do get free time, then you might end up being bored. I personally make guitar videos for another YouTube channel I have, and I make these videos, so I've definitely got something anytime to fill up my time. But I do miss, I've seen that there's been a lot of cool parks at certain cities, and I think, hey, I'm here, I'm traveling, so now I can see all these things, but I don't end up seeing them because I'm kind of glad that the company keeps me busy enough to hustle here, hustle there. But at the same time, it seems like there's enough space in between the hustles that I could be doing more hustling and could be making more money, and I'm not. Okay, let's move on to, let's see, what have we done? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say we're on, what was that, 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm trying to do the countdown to 1, so whatever. Number whatever. 4, 3, 2, 1. So number 4 here is the topic nobody likes to talk about: bath, shower, laundry, and something else I wrote there, but bathroom, shower, and laundry. But we just talked about doing laundry. You're gonna always have to do if you're skittish about laundromats, you've got your own nice washing machine at home where you do your laundry there, and maybe you do it you've done it, with a family. Probably, presumably, you don't have family. That's why you're doing this job. Because if you do have family, I didn't even write that as one of these. I'm just going to assume you obviously don't have family. Because it's like the number one thing you're going to miss, which we'll talk about next. But so if you're used to doing your laundry, I personally had my own laundry machine in my studio apartment at home. And so, it's pretty peculiar, or pretty happy to never be able to have to go to the laundromat to do laundry. And because laundromats, I found, were after a while, I did laundry at laundromats for a couple of years, and I thought they were kind of gross. I mean, that's where everyone else does their laundry. Just ever think about it? What's in there? Let's not even think about it, because I'm sure you can think about it for yourself without being gross here. Everyone else's underwear is in there. Sure, it's a cleaning machine. It cleans them, and all the water's gone away, supposedly. But is that how it really works? Is there leftover water that mixes with your water when the machine is done? You don't know. We don't know. Are there little hairs in there? Yeah, take a look at those laundry machines. Do some of them smell like mold? Yes. And you're all over the country. Certain laundromats are better than others. Some of them you're going to lose your change in. You're going to be pissed off. So there's going to be no time to have someone come over and call the phone number and return your coin. So, yeah. Some of these areas, you get good at reading Google reviews, because some of these areas you might turn away from and not even go, because you'll find out, that there's roaches or it might have a good heads up before you get there that there's vagrants that frequent the place, and you don't want to deal with any dangerous people or get in any dangerous situations, especially late at night. And that's one I didn't even write down here, that I'm going to write down here. Maybe I'll where are we going to put that in? Well, let's add that in, then we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about that next. Dangerous people. Showers, taking showers. Where are you going to take a shower? right? Get ready to go days. If you're someone who loved taking a shower daily and cleanliness is a thing for you, you're going to have a problem on this job because you can go a couple days without a shower. You're not really working up a sweat. You're just sitting here driving. So in that regard, if you don't sweat a lot, I'm not a super heavy guy, so I don't sweat a lot. I've got extra pounds, I think, but I don't sweat a lot. So, but it's, we're all getting nose blind to our own scent, and all too often we were sleeping in the van. These vans can pick up a smell that comes out when you open the doors, and you don't want shippers and receivers to kind of be disgusted with your van, or if you find some friendly people at one of your truck stops and you've got friends coming up to the van that on the job, you don't want them thinking that you're the company pig pen guy. So it's real easy to get these vans. Here's another thing. If you don't like cleaning up a van and washing a van and not getting paid to while you wash and clean your van, you're not going to like this job. But it is your humble home away from home, and you've got to keep it clean. My van needs a serious crumb detail right now. It needs to get wiped down. All the interior needs to get wiped down from little sneezes and everything that's, keep the steering wheel clean. Someday someone else is going to probably have to use this van. And would you like to get a disgusting used van? Probably not. I got really lucky that the owner of this van gave it to me brand new with 200 miles on it, so I didn't have to deal with anyone else's. I didn't have to deal with a used mattress or anything like that, or a used bunk. So that was pretty cool, and I definitely want to keep it like that. So showers, get yourself a Planet Fitness membership, because that's probably your best bet in the shower. But even at Planet Fitness, some are better than others. Some are kind of dirty. They're at least not as cleaned as well as others. Some of them are better than any shower you've ever taken, namely Racine, Wisconsin. If you get to go there, check out the one that's in the mall there. It's got a freaking rain head. It's got giant shower rooms, super clean. It was really nice. The one I went to today had some crushed up little gnats, and the shower curtain had, looked like it wasn't perfectly clean. So if you nitpick, you'll see that some clubs aren't as clean as others, but it had a nice roomy shower, so it wasn't bad. Some really old clubs have the shower stall really close in, and it's hard to move around without touching the sides. And if you've ever had any, it's not all that hard to pick up skin diseases where it's called ORSA. You're not going to get MRSA, that's a little deadly, but ORSA is a similar thing where you can get these giant sores on your skin as if someone else was infected with it, and you come in contact with something that they touched. Someone had a cut on their finger, and, you happen to grab the shower curtain where they did. This stuff can happen, so it's pretty gross, and if that stuff skeeves you out, a lot of guys who want to do this are big boys and girls, so, this stuff doesn't bother them, so, just letting you know. But for those who do get bothered by this stuff, heads up. Laundry, and we talked about that. So bathrooms, go and pee. Where do you go pee? Let's talk about go and pee. A lot of people, a lot of guys, especially if you're older, what about you? Do you find that you get up in the middle of the night to go pee? Are you older than you're in your 30s? Guess what happens when you 20-year-olds, when you're in your late 30s and 40s, you find out you got to pee, especially if you've had a crappy diet, like most of us with a standard American diet. End up having to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And so if you're in your van, where are you going to do that if you decided to camp out at a Walmart or something? So there are times when you can't really or won't really want to get out of your van and just walk into the gym to pee or something. So what a lot of guys do, they'll keep a piss bottle in their excuse my language, but they got a bottle inside their van. Well, these bottles will fill up, and then what are you doing with them? You're going to throw a bottle of piss away? Nobody wants to handle that. Perhaps, you find a garbage receptacle. Don't be the asshole that leaves it in the... nobody wants you to be on this job leaving these things in truck stops or on the side of roads and whatever. It's disgusting, and don't be that person. And if you think you are going to be that person, and people... are saying something to you, or you're getting scolded about it, you're not going to like that. So you may have to keep a bottle and then you dump it in places. So that's not really, you're probably not going to feel great about doing that. So consider that the constant need to find proper places to do your business. Especially the number 2, are you skeevish on public toilets? I'll tell you honestly, I am. I don't like it. I've always, there's one thing about me, I always train myself to never, if I could help it, never go at work, never go anywhere but my own home. That's where I do that business. It's my place, my cooties, whatever, so no worries there. I'm even skittish about doing it at someone else's house. I just don't like it. Like, I can't even sit in the bottom. I always take showers. I never take baths. I hate my backside on the bottom of something plastic. It's just where people's feet are. It's just disgusting to me. I don't know. Something skeeves me about it. To be bold and honest here on my YouTube channel. So, dealing with public toilets was a big hurdle for me on this job. If that's something that's, going to set you back or skeeve you, you may not like this job if you can't get over that. But there are ways to deal with it, is namely bringing some paper towels with you to quickly line the seat so you don't have to contact anything. There are ways to sit up higher so you don't contact the seat, or worst come to worst, don't do what some of these trucker channels are showing and do it in your own van. It'll stink. Throw it out in a bag that is illegal to put your stuff into the trash, because it's simply not hygienic to do so. These people on the trucker channel said, yeah, but Huggies would be out of business if that was true. They didn't realize that baby poo is a little bit different from full-on human garbage-eating, garbage humans poo. So it's not the same thing. It's a far greater health threat. So don't throw your waste out in the garbage. That's why there's public sewers, because humans need sewers. So in that regard, if there's an emergency, it's one thing, but in any other regard, don't make that your habit. And if so, you might think like, oh, I'll get around it by doing it that way. Not a good idea. Let's get off that subject and move on to away from home. Let's move on to danger first. Dangerous places. You might be sent to pick up things late at night where the shipper says, hey, you got to wait a couple more hours. Wait out here. I've done that in the middle of Chicago. It was a shady alley, but it was blocked off where I was, and so it wasn't too bad. I was able to wait in the van with the doors locked, but there have been stories of people who have been approached, and just bad stories. So, and this is more for truckers, not van people, but you may go into places that aren't the nicest areas, and you're not going to be able to carry weapons with you in your van if you cross the border, because they ask about that stuff, and you need to be forthright at the border, or you're going to constantly find yourself getting searched and stuff like that. So, you're going to, need some common sense. Wait at places that are not, that if anything seems dangerous, you just go farther away and wait farther away. Wait somewhere else. Being away from home is another one. I found that, you're probably saying to yourself, oh, I don't got family, I don't got pets, I'll be fine with that, just like I was, because that's the big thing. They say that, you'll miss your family, you'll miss your family and friends and stuff, and I was like, well, I'll be fine with that. I don't have a lot of family where I am. They were all living out of state, and so that's been fine for me. But I realized that all the things I did on the internet, all my little projects, all my YouTube, all my trying to start an online business, my car hobby. I have cars that are classic cars that I would take to cruise nights and car shows, and I couldn't do them anymore. And I realized things are sitting outside, and I'm wondering, like, man, are people messing with that stuff? Gee, I used to go there every night and check things out, make sure it was okay. Now I'm not around. What if something happens, So you're going to miss things away from home. No matter how much you say you don't have anything back at home, you're going to miss things at home. So get ready for that. And if that's going to be too great for you, you might not like van expediting. Getting into the last two now, your health. If you're a health nut, If healthy eating is a big deal to you, like it is for a lot of people later in their lives, a plant-based diet is like goes out the window. Exercise is really hard to do, and if you had a job where you were up and active and now you're sitting down all day, you're going to realize real fast what a job sitting down all day can do to your physique. It's not healthy to sit all day. And in this job, a lot of days, you're sitting for 10 hours at a time to make make a 24-hour run. You're trying to drive 12 hours a day, if not drive the full 24 hours. But you got to stop for gas and stuff like that. But you're hopping out and hopping back in. It's not a lot of exercise. That's why I said get yourself a Planet Fitness membership. Then you get a shower, you get a bathroom, and you get a lot of exercise. But that place stinks like a gym. So it's not like home. It's not, and you got to deal with people that poo right next to you that make all them noises and smells, right? So if that's something that you're okay with, then no problem. But if it's something that skeeves you, think about that. Nobody tells you about that when they're making all the big promises about how great this job is. And I'm here to tell you the real deal that you're going to deal with in van expediting. So being healthy as far as physique and healthy as far as eating. They got that eating down to a science to where they've got that thing constantly at every interchange. They got that sign that tells you, hey, we got mix such and such. We've got, this one that you like. You got those express this and fancy that. That's up ahead of here. Sugary this, salty and fatty that. Oh, you like those burgers? We got those here. And over and over and over and over. Billboards, exit signs, and those big, tall advertisements and everything that they got in conjunction with those truck stops to make you constantly crave junk food, which is expensive. And especially the closer it is to a truck stop, the more expensive it is. If it's connected to a truck stop, you don't want it because it's super expensive. But sometimes it's all you got and you're really hungry and you feel like, yeah, but I'm making a little extra money here. What's one burger gonna... And next thing you know, you're breaking your diet. You're eating garbage, right? So I'm talking to myself here, trying to get myself to stop doing that. I did a plant-based diet for years. I got used to it. I was very, very happy with my health, feeling great. And then this job, I started dipping into a couple cravings here and there, a little craving here, a little craving there. Let me tell you about this really quick, a little side shoot here. Something I realized. There's two kinds of eating. And this is what no one's telling anybody. This is where people don't get dieting. There's two kinds of eating. There's eating for your mouth and eating for your gut and your soul. Eating for your mouth and eating for your gut and your soul. When you see those signs on your highway, your mouth is connected. Let's call that mouth and brain, and then gut and soul. Your brain is wired to your mouth. It wants that instant pleasure of that fatty, salty, like, this is so good. And you eat it, and it's the type of food that you eat right up, like you get a Little Caesars pizza. Wait, when did I get a Little Caesars pizza? Did I get one today? Did I eat the whole thing today? You ate a whole pizza today? How did you eat a whole pizza? Right? So, a pizza, one of those pizzas is meant for 2 or 3 people. And I'll eat the whole damn thing. You know why? Because one slice is good and you're going down the road and you're like, well, let's have another slice. Like, well, I'll fill up on that whole thing. Because it tasted great. And it was my mouth and mind, mouth and mind, mouth and mind. But you're not thinking about your gut and your future. And that's how they get you. That's this whole consumer industry food. That's every single fast food place. It's all mouth, brain food. It's for your brain to go, ooh, yeah, that would taste good. Yeah, why don't we just have that? Hey, it would be really good. It would be really good because I like that taste. I want that taste. I want that instant gratification. It makes you go right when it's instant. When you eat it, when you go into your mouth, you go, oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Then guess what happens? It's gone and you keep on craving it. And that's perfect for them because you'll go back and buy more next time. And they'll keep making money and you'll keep eating it. And you get fatter and fatter and fatter. And nobody fucking cares because they're stealing your money. And you're dying for it, right? With all that grease and sugar and fat in your arteries and shit everywhere. It's nonsense. And the gut aches and pains and having to suddenly pull off the road and stop your drive because you got to take a run to the bathroom and go ruin a toilet somewhere. It's just a nightmare. And it's all in your mind. Then there's the gut soul food. That food doesn't taste as good. Although if you get creative, you can make it taste good. For example, go into Walmart and get in a package of broccoli and washed, cleaned, ready to eat broccoli and cauliflower. It's like the best snack you can have. It will pretty much fill you up, but see, it's not going to give you that filled up like when you eat that mouth food, you eat so much of it, your gut is filled up. You're like, oh, I couldn't eat anymore. Anyways, that's what you get trained to think is filled up. No, you're stuffed. You're full of crap, and you're going to take a wicked crap. And it's the worst thing. You're filling up your gut. It's terrible. You're making yourself fat, and you're giving yourself a fat gut, and that's what's doing it. With that broccoli stuff, you kind of don't feel like you get that filled up feeling. But you sort of do, because you just kind of get sick of eating it. And I got a text that came in, but the what you can do is get some go to the store and invest in some good spicy sauces, like not a sugary sauce. Get a gourmet barbecue sauce. It doesn't have any sugar in it. There's ones that don't have any sugar in it, like a hot sauce, if you like hot sauce. And dip the veggies in that. It tastes great. They give it a little kick and pizzazz, and you're having something as good as they got a crunch to it. And if you just, it's as good as French fries. It just doesn't have that packed in fat and salt. But you can get your fat with avocados. I used to eat a ton of avocados just to get all that fat craving out of the way. And to fill up, because people say that the fat fills you up more. I don't buy that so much. But anyways, that stuff, when you eat it though, you feel good about what you ate later. You don't have any guilty feelings that you ate crap. That you ate crap. Your gut does not ache, and you have a normal bowel movement at normal times, and you can hold it longer. So it's way, way, way better to eat stuff that does not give you that makes you think like, oh yeah, but I didn't get that like super satisfied, like full to the gut feeling of some salty taco, whatever, right? That's just, you got to get over the mental aspect if you want to eat properly in the van, and that's going to be hard. And if that's not going to be you might not like van expediting. Or you might get really unhealthy van expediting and still not like van expediting because of that. So keep that in mind. Let's move on. The final number one thing that you might not like van expediting for, the biggest number one reason of all, is working for free. Doing work for a company for free. Like you are here to give them a freebie when they've got no freebies for you. Oh, but they say, well, it comes out in the wash, because sometimes there'll be, a little something for here, you, and it ain't happening like that. And that's how it never should be, because that never really works out evenly anyways, and there's no way to police all that. What there is a way to do is make sure that you get a steno notepad. This is what you're going to need. If you, this goes along with, let's do another one, along with this one, paperwork. If you don't like doing paperwork, this job won't be for you. If you don't like using your phone, and being tech savvy, this job might not be for you. I had to get a wireless printer and dick around with getting my phone to communicate with a wireless printer. I had to pull out everything I knew about anything to get the stupid thing to communicate. Finally, I got it to work most of the time, and it's still finicky as hell. So getting the printer to work, doing paperwork, you got to have download an app so you can take pictures of the paperwork, because you constantly need to send your dispatch your paperwork. And if you don't send it this way, you're going to be asked to constantly take your miles and go to a truck stop and fax things, which costs money every time you fax. You are not going to make any money doing that. So you get an app, and then you can constantly have to send them paperwork every time you do something. But get yourself a steno notepad and do more paperwork. While they got you busy doing all their paperwork, you got to do your own paperwork. Write down your trip number, where you started from and the miles in your van. When you got to the shipper, the miles. Put down where you were. Put down what Google Maps said it would be. Put down where you're shipping to, and put down the miles that when you get there. Then write down what Google Maps said it was, what your actual was, so you can know that, because there's going to be overage, because every time you stop for gas, it's a little bit more than when you do your gas stops and you take wrong turns. And just the nature of things, you're going to probably always be a little bit more than Google Maps. Not a big deal. I'm okay personally with 10 miles, 20 miles over here and there. It's a flash in the pan. It's a couple extra pennies. You're making reasonably good money, so I can throw that money away in the mix, whatever the fuck, right? But when it comes to finding out that for some reason Google Maps sent you way the wrong way and you got an extra 100 miles, number one. Number two, you find out you're going to want to write down this mileage, because I found out on a couple of pay stubs so far that I'm at least paid 100 miles less than what Google Maps said. Did those cities get 100 miles closer to each other suddenly? Or did I just not get paid for 100? Did I just drive 100 miles? That's an hour and 20 minutes of my time. Hour and 40 minutes of my time. Roughly. For free. Who works for free in America? Right? That's called slavery. It's ridiculous, and it should never ever happen. But welcome to the trucking industry. Watch some trucking videos to see just how rampant having people do things for free is in the trucking industry. It's truckers, it's us van people, it's everywhere in the industry. Dispatch seems to suddenly think on certain cities or someone missed the typed number somehow. Little miles here, little miles there are going to get ripped off from you unless you watch them like a hawk. Okay? If you don't like chasing people down for your pay stubs, now I got to go tell someone about it. I don't know. Do I tell the van owner? Do I tell dispatch? I don't know. What are they going to say? Are they going to give me the runaround about getting it? Are they going to... So who knows? If you don't want to deal with that stuff, then you either take it or and be unhappy about it, take it and don't care about it, or don't become a van expediter. And that's not the half of it. Now there's other driving for free. A lot of times they'll tell you, hey, okay, we found you a shipment. It's over in the 3 cities over. The worst one yet was like, hey, it's only 177 miles away, and it was 277 miles away. Oops. I thought it was. We just, And I saw that. I don't think that I got the miles that was the oops miles. They didn't add those it was just from the city to the other city shipped. So I just ate it. That was my $25 in gas. When it comes to 100 miles, I mean, these vans are getting 15.6. No, actually, I did the miles per gallon. It was 14.6 miles per gallon is what I get in gas mileage. So, 30 miles is at $2.50 a gallon is $5. Every 30 miles is $5. So 30, 60, 90 is about $15 for every 100 miles. Maybe $16, $17 for every 100 miles. So you do the math, man. If you lose 100 miles here, 100 miles there, 17 miles here, yeah, you're getting pretty good coin, but that's about an hour of your pay. Free, right? But you worked, you just got 10 hours of driving paid for at around $20. You made $200. Hey, it's a nice day. You make $200 in a day. It's pretty good. But then you're not working every day. So it ends up being as much as your other job. And then when you consider in what got slipped away from you and what got mysteriously not paid, you find out that you may not be making as much as you thought you were making. And the promises and dreams were just that, promises and dreams. So, my friends, I hope you're ready to not give up. If you're really head set on getting this job, it can be fun. There can be rewards. And we'll go over that in the next video. Some top whatever reasons that you might like van expediting. But here's just a heads up. Because I want to be honest now that I'm here and relate to you what is the actualities, what is the reality of this glorified van expediting gig that I'm still finding kind of fun and interesting to do, but has its problem. Like, for example, right now I've been stalling here making this video for 44 minutes now, trying to wait for traffic to thin up on this. It's a Sunday evening on I-40, and this traffic is going as hell as it was when I parked here. It's not letting up, so I'm gonna have to just get out, grin and bear it, and there's a nice lull in traffic, so maybe it is lightening up a bit, and I can get to where I'm going with all these wackos encircling my van. Okay, everybody, that was our video for 45 minutes today. Hope it wasn't too long, because we like 8-minute videos and 5-minute videos the best. I don't know how long it's going to take to upload this thing. It's going to take my data usage into uncharted territories, and that won't be good. But here we go. Please like, please subscribe, leave me some feedback in the comments below. And I'd like to thank my latest subscriber. It didn't tell me your name or who you were, so thank you. But I just saw it was gone up to 5 from 4. 5 whole subscribers. Woo! Rookie Van Expediting, kicking it, yeah. Okay, talk to you guys soon. See ya.